This is my video update on this Monday morning, August the 12th. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the attack on the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. This is according to Russian officials. Ukraine launched a bunch of drones towards the ZNPP, and one of the reactors, one of the columns close to the reactors, caught fire, and the nuclear power plant had to be put into a cold shutdown, but everything is under control. At the moment of recording this video, there is no risk of some sort of a nuclear meltdown or anything like that. But according to Russian officials, the Elensky regime tried to hit the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Now, that is what Russian officials are saying, with drones. He used drones. But Elensky and Ukraine officials, they are saying that the fires that people saw from the ZNPP, the big plum of smoke that was coming out of the ZNPP, was the Russians deciding to burn tires. That is what Elensky is saying. That is what Ukraine is saying. For some reason, the Russians decided that it would be a good idea if we burn some tires at the nuclear power plant. Why would why would Russia decide to burn tires at the nuclear power plant? Well, as the critical drinker likes to say, don't know, don't care. Don't know, don't care. I don't know why they would do it. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, that's just, how the Russians think, That's just how Russians think. Nuclear power plant. What could we do? What could we do to stir up some controversy? What could we do because we're winning so much? This is the Russian logic, everybody. Because we are winning so much, what could we do to make things interesting, to perhaps create an event that would cause NATO or the collective West to get involved in the conflict, or that would bring the world to condemn us? What could we do? How about a nuclear meltdown? How about pretend that we're going to burn down a nuclear reactor? So let's just get these tires and start burning them, because, we're just winning too much. We're winning too much, and we need the international condemnation. And maybe perhaps we could get NATO involved in this conflict or something like that. So let's burn some tires. I don't know. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. Why they would burn tires? I don't understand it, but that is what Elensky is going with. Energodar. We have recorded from Nikopol that the Russian occupiers have started a fire on the territory of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. Currently, radiation levels are within norm. However, as long as the Russian terrorists maintain control over the nuclear plant, the situation is not and cannot be normal. Since the first day of its seizure, Russia has been using the Zaporizhzhia NPP only to blackmail Ukraine, all of Europe, and the world. We are waiting for the world to react, waiting for the IAEA to react. Russia must be held accountable for this. Only Ukrainian control over the Zaporizhzhia NPP can guarantee a return to normalcy and complete safety. Yeah, there's a tweet from the Elensky regime in English. This is not a translate. He posted this in English. And there is Elensky basically admitting that he is going after the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. This is an admission of guilt in a way, by saying that only the plant, the ZNPP, under Ukrainian control, only then can it be safe. We are waiting for the world to condemn Russia. We are waiting for the world to react to this Russia burning of tires at the ZNPP. It's Zelenskyy admitting that. In my opinion, it's an admission from Elensky saying, yeah, we're trying to destroy the ZNPP. And we're going to hope that the world will blame Russia, because, Russia is trying to to destroy their own nuclear power plant. That makes sense, and we're hoping that the world will blame Russia and will use it as an excuse to get involved in the conflict and to find a way to get the ZNPP under Ukrainian control. So the entire Kursk, the whole Kursk operation, it was all about the nuclear power plant, the fact that the Elensky regime, the way it looks, the Elensky regime sent drones into the ZNPP. That's the way it looks from my end. Maybe, maybe Russia did decide to burn tires. I don't know. Maybe they decided to burn tires, but this is all about the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia, the Kursk nuclear power plant. Everything that we've seen over the past couple of weeks, we've kind of come full circle. We've come full circle to the ZNPP. I feel like this video could have been recorded 2 years ago, right? So that's Zelensky's post on Twitter X. The Ukraine military, they've pretty much abandoned their blitzkrieg to capture the Kursk nuclear power plant. There have been soldiers captured by the Russian military, Ukrainian soldiers, and they have admitted that the task of the operation, the goal of the Kursk operation was to capture the Kursk nuclear power plant, or at least the village close to the Kursk NPP. And the plan was to get to the village in a couple of days. A type of blitzkrieg, just go quickly into Russian territory, try to catch the Russians flat-footed, and capture this village where the Kursk NPP is located. But 2 days have passed. We're now on day 6 or day 7 of this operation, and there's no way that Ukraine is going to get the Kursk NPP. So they decided to place their focus back on the Zaporizhzhia NPP. There's talk that perhaps this event that is happening at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant is a signal that Ukraine is going to launch an offensive, an operation in the Zaporizhzhia region, and that everything that is happening in Kursk is one front or one distraction for what's going to be a bigger operation in the south. We'll see. We'll see if that is true. I don't know how Ukraine is going to pull it off, because they have diverted much of their military resources in the Donbass towards Kursk. And this is causing the Ukraine military in Donbass to collapse much quicker than was anticipated, diverting their forces to Kursk. Ukraine has pretty much left their forces in Donbass high and dry. But yeah, there's talk that maybe something's going to happen in the Zaporizhzhia region. But that's Zelensky's. This is Zelensky's last desperate attempt to try and get some leverage over Russia, but maybe also to try and get some leverage over the collective West, over Europe, over the United States, over the world, by saying, you know what? If you guys don't give me more money or more weapons, or commit to continuing the war, because if the war winds down, or if Elensky is forced to negotiate, then he's cooked. So maybe this is Zelensky's way of not only trying to get leverage over Russia, but trying to blackmail the collective West. You guys don't give me what I want, then I'm going to try and cause a nuclear meltdown. Elensky's existence is now completely tied into the war continuing. His power is dependent on the conflict continuing. So he's going to do whatever he has to do, him and his regime, to keep the war going. So yeah, Ukraine is going to have to dig in now in the Kursk region. That's what's happening. They're digging into the areas that they've managed to control in Russian territory, areas which are on the outskirts of the town of Sudza. and not the actual center of the town, but on the outskirts of the town. They're digging trenches, they're digging in, and this is their annihilation now, because the minute the line is static and both sides dig in, then Russia has a huge advantage, and they're just going to start demolishing the Ukraine military. They're stuck. The Ukraine forces that were supposed to get to this village in 2 days, they're stuck now. What Elensky should have done is he should have retreated those forces. Like 2-3 days ago, those forces should have just retreated. That's what Elensky should have done. If he cared about his military, that's what he would have done. He would have retreated those forces. They couldn't capture the Kursk NPP in 2 days. Get out. Retreat. Operation is done. Let's all go back home. But that's not what he did. He's actually sending more and more forces into the area so that they can dig in. The New York Times has an article which says Russia pushes back at Ukraine's cross-border assault, but Kiev presses on. They're doubling, tripling down now. I imagine that if Zelenskyy retreated, if he told his forces to retreat, then he would have been in trouble back home. So he's sending more and more Ukraine military into Kursk, doubling, tripling down. They're digging in, and all this is for Russia is just more Ukrainian soldiers and more equipment being annihilated by the Russian bombs. The glide bombs is what I imagine they're going to use, those fab bombs. And actually, I read a report which said that on August 11th, Russia destroyed more Ukraine military equipment than at any other time during the past 2.5, 3 years of fighting. That's how much equipment Russia is destroying in Kursk. Incredible, huh? So that's the update in Ukraine. A blitzkrieg, a 2-day blitzkrieg to capture the Kursk NPP. 3 years of this war, and the collective West, the Ukraine military, their strategy remains the same, which is rush to grab whatever territory you can, maneuver warfare, and grab whatever territory you can, and the Russian military will retreat. They're still hanging on to the propaganda BS narrative of the great Kharkov counteroffensive and the great Kherson counteroffensive, where the Ukraine military took over empty territory, and that was the big military victory. They didn't defeat Russia to grab this territory. They just quickly grabbed empty territory. And ever since the great Kharkiv and Kherson counteroffensive, that's been the strategy from NATO. That's been the strategy from Ukraine. We are going to replicate these great victories in Kharkiv and Kherson, where we took over territory where no military was at. That was the plan. That was the plan. So the Russian Foreign Ministry, by the way, they put out a statement, and they said that a big retaliation from the Russian military is coming. That is what the Foreign Ministry said. In response to Kursk, and we did get some missiles hitting the outskirts of Kiev yesterday. I believe 4 or 5 Russian missiles hit the outskirts of Kiev, as well as 50 or 57, I think 57 drones. But there's going to be a big response from Russia coming in the next couple of days. Actually, let me read you the statement from the Russian Foreign Ministry. They said that a tough response from the Russian army will not be long in coming. Not a good sign if you're the Zelenskyy regime, when you get a statement like this coming, not from the the Ministry of Defense of Russia, but from the foreign ministry. The diplomats, Lavrov and his office, are saying that a tough response is coming in the next couple of days. So let's talk about Maduro. Let's talk about this Wall Street Journal article, which claims that the United States is working on convincing Maduro, Venezuela, to relinquish his presidency, his presidential win, to relinquish power, give it up to Gonzalez, which means give it up to Maria Corina. And if he gives up his election win, then the United States will grant him amnesty from narco-terrorism charges. Not only Maduro, but Maduro's cabinet and everyone that supports the Maduro government. They will receive amnesty if they just give up their presidential win. Democracy in action, huh? According to the Wall Street Journal, this is what is going on. In secret talks, U.S. offers amnesty to Venezuela's Maduro for ceding power. Long shot American attempt, fueled by opposition effort to document the president's overwhelming defeat at the polls. Give up power and we'll grant you amnesty. If you're Maduro and you agree to this, you gotta be freaking crazy, man. You gotta be crazy if you agree to something like this. Because you know that, let's go to the benches over there. You know that if you agree to this, you're toast, man. They're gonna grant you amnesty, yeah, right. Relinquish your presidential power, your victory, and we're going to let you and everyone around you off the hook with the narco-terrorism charges. And then we're going to take you out. No, thank you. If I was Maduro, I'd be like, no, thank you. The only thing that is keeping me alive and keeping me on this planet is the fact that I'm president of Venezuela. Why would you relinquish your election win? your presidential election win. This is U.S. international rules-based order democracy. This is what it is. Is this what it's all about? Man, this looks bad. If this reporting from the Wall Street Journal is true, this is really embarrassing for the Biden White House. Really embarrassing. Nice bench. Yeah, that's what they're saying, and they're even the Biden White House is even talking to Mexico and to Colombia and other countries that have dialogue, communication with Maduro, and they're trying to recruit them to convince Maduro to go along with this deal, to accept this deal. You know, this could be a way. This is actually very sinister what the U.S. is doing, because this could be a way for them to try and create some palace intrigue. Maybe they're hoping that some people in Maduro's administration are going to actually fall for this, and they're going to try and convince Maduro to give up power for amnesty. And when Maduro doesn't accept, they might try to instigate a coup. You know what I mean? Try and get something like that going. So this is a very sinister tactic that the West is employing. Unbelievable story, if this is true, from the Wall Street Journal. And let's talk about the coup that unfolded just a couple of days ago in Bangladesh. We have a report from the Hindustan Times, which claims that the former Bangladesh Prime Minister, Sheikh Hasina, says the U.S. demanded control of St. Martin Island End the Bay of Bengal in exchange for my power. I urge my people, don't fall prey to radical manipulation. In other words, the ousted Prime Minister of Bangladesh is saying that the U.S. was behind her removal. They wanted this small little island, St. Martin, this small little island in the Bay of Bengal, probably to set up a big military base and then control the Bay of Bengal. And in exchange, according to the Prime Minister of the ousted Prime Minister of Bangladesh, they would allow her to remain in power. If not, if she didn't accept this deal, she had to go, and that's what happened. She's gone. And she tried to go to London, but and the U.S. revoked her. From what I understand, the U.S. revoked her visa, and she did not end up in London either. And I believe she's still in India, but I could be wrong about that. I'm not sure where she is at the moment. Let me know in the comments down below if you know where the Prime Minister of Bangladesh is. But the U.S. has they've already put in a Prime Minister, Yunus. That's the guy's name. Brian Berletic has a good video on the situation in Bangladesh, a good write-up, a good post, and a good video on the situation in Bangladesh. And basically, Yunus is your typical Juan Guaido type of character, and that's who's been put in the position of interim prime minister in Bangladesh. And one more story before we get to our clown worlds. After 21 years, we are getting reports that the U.S. military will be leaving Iraq. Mission accomplished. Remember George Bush? The big sign, mission accomplished. Finally, after 21 years, George W. Bush has been proven correct. Mission accomplished. Yeah, the U.S. is finally leaving Iraq. That's what it looks like. From what I understand, Iraqi officials are going to go to Washington in a month, and they're going to announce this huge news. The foreign minister is going to be in Washington in a month. And they're not leaving all of Iraq. From what I understand, the reports are that the U.S. military and the international coalition, the international coalition that occupies parts of Iraq, they're going to stay in the Kurdish region of Iraq. They're going to stay there until 2026. But in the rest of Iraq, the U.S. military is going to leave by 2025. That's the report there. Let's do some clown worlds, and we'll wrap up this video. Did you guys know that the Olympics ended? Yeah, yesterday was the closing ceremony of the Olympics. I had no idea. I had no idea that they ended. I don't think there was any controversy with the ceremony. I think the ceremony was pretty much by the book, but I could be wrong. I didn't see it. I didn't read any news about the closing ceremony, so I'm not sure what it was all about. If there was any stuff like the opening ceremony, if they tried to push any agendas like they were pushing in the opening ceremony. I think everything was pretty straightforward as the Paris Olympics wound up, and that's it. That is it. I think these Olympic Games are going to go down as a fiasco. I believe they were the lowest rated Olympic Games in history, one of the lowest rated in terms of viewership. But yeah, that's it. That's it for the Paris 2024 Games. And in the UK, we are getting reports that Keir Starmer, he's looking to put together some sort of legislation that will force the tech giants to ban fake news. That is what Keir Starmer is up to. Firms, social media firms, could be required to suppress posts even if they are not illegal. This is what the Telegraph is reporting. Tech companies will be forced to ban fake news from their platforms under plans being considered by the government in the wake of the riots. Sir Keir Starmer suggested on Friday that the government would review social media law as part of an effort to prevent further disorder. The Telegraph understands that ministers are looking at introducing a duty on social media companies to restrict legal but harmful content. It could mean that firms are required to remove or suppress posts spreading fake news about asylum seekers or other topics such as self-harm, even if they do not meet the threshold for illegality. However, critics have said the proposals expose the sinister and authoritarian side of Keir Starmer's Labour Party, driving a coach and horses through the principle of free speech. This is very similar to the EU's Digital Safety Act or Digital Security Act or whatever they call it, the DSA. This is very similar to what the EU is trying to do with social media companies, which is to fine them, to place fines on big tech if the EU catches any posts that the EU considers to be harmful, hateful, not up to the EU's standards. Then a fine is placed on social media companies. That's basically what the UK and Keir Starmer is trying to do. That is exactly what they are trying to do. Not posts that are illegal. Nope. Just posts that they don't like. That's basically what they're saying. If anyone posts something that we don't like, and they hide it under the narrative of content about migration or harmful content or content that incites riots, that's what they hide it under. But basically, it's any posts that they don't like, that they don't approve. Take it down, big tech, or we're going to fine you. So what's going to happen? All the big tech companies are going to agree. They're going to play along with UK Labour and Keir Starmer, except for Twitter X. That's my prediction. Twitter X is going to not agree to this. That's what's going to happen. And Rumble as well, but I don't know, can we call Rumble big tech? I don't think Rumble is big tech yet. Hopefully, very soon, Rumble will be considered big tech. But Rumble's definitely not going to agree to something like this. But Facebook, Instagram, all of Facebook Meta, Google, they're going to play ball, just like they did with the European Union. So that is Keir Starmer. The former First Minister of Scotland, just to wrap up this clown world, the ex-Scottish First Minister, Humza Yousaf, he said that Elon Musk is one of the most dangerous individuals in the world, attributing significant blame to the far right for various issues. Yeah, he was on, I believe, CNN, and he was talking about the most dangerous man in the world, which is Elon Musk. Elon Musk has become the most dangerous man on planet Earth. Maybe he's even more dangerous than Trump. So that's the ex-Scottish First Minister doing the bidding of the globalists. So that's the video, everybody. theduran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch like the shirt I am wearing today, and give a like to this video. Subscribe to this channel. How about this turtle? How about this blue turtle hanging out in Limassol? I like it. Take care.